Got this bling. Got some mad bling. Hey guys, ElkCollective here today with our first ever deck analysis. As much as we talk about being competitive players, we actually haven't uploaded any competitive or valuable content. So I figured I'd change that up today, give you guys a deck review. So this is my States deck. I was able to win a States with it, so if you're looking for a Darkrai Yveltal list, this might be a good starting point. So I guess we'll just dive right into this. So in my list I played 3 Yveltal EX. That's pretty standard from what I know. Pretty effective card. It is your main attacker. Don't get confused by the amount of Darkrai's. This guy is a monster. It's like Mewtwo, but it doesn't counter itself, is what I kept saying. So that's your main attacker. You want to power that up early game. Depending on the matchup. You also have Darkrai, which I play 3 of. That's more than most variants that I've seen anyways. The reasoning behind playing 3, in my opinion, is because I don't like discarding Darkrai's, and I don't like prizing Darkrai's. So that gives you some flexibility if you have to Juniper a Darkrai or something, or if you prize 2 of them, which I did at States, then you still have the ability for a Dark Cloak. And people seem to forget that Darkrai has an attack. Actually, still one of the best in the game, Night Spear, 90 and 30. It won 2 worlds for a reason. I don't know, just throwing that out there. Great attacker, great backup, great against the Thunderous matchup. So yeah, there's that. I play 2 baby. Oh, you're just a baby. Yveltal. Oblivion Wing is pretty goat, not gonna lie. I did Darkness Blade once or twice, but mainly for Oblivion Wing. Great in the Raybor matchup, because you can just throw that up there, and it needs 3 energy or some sort of a boost to KO it in 1 shot, so that's cool. And it only gives up 1 prize, so pretty solid attacker, pretty good starter to power up your bench. Yeah. Keldeo, that's pretty obvious. Rush in with Dark Cloak, free retreat on everything. And then I opted to play Absol in my variant. I know a lot of people play the Bouffalant, but I liked Absol over it, mainly because, I don't know, it's a faster, kind of more aggressive attacker. You can Dark Patch to it, it takes less energy. It may have less HP, but Yveltal actually hard counters Bouffalant pretty well, and with how popular that's been in our metagame, I thought Absol would be the better play. Obviously, if I was playing more double, I would have considered Bouffalant more, probably. But whichever you prefer, they're both honestly pretty good. And maxed out, they're both hitting for the same damage output. So that's it, 10 Pokemon. I did find myself mulliganing a bunch, but I guess I'll just sort of skip to my MVP here, which is the red cards. I played 3 red card. A lot of people weren't seeing that coming. That was fun. You'd play it down and they'd be like, "Can I read that?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, sure." For any of you who don't know, it makes your opponent shuffle their hand in and draw 4 cards. So that may not seem too good at first sight, but it's a trainer, so you can play it and still play your supporter card. And turn 1, that disrupts them so heavily that you are just off to, with like a cutthroat speed deck like Yveltal, and a red card on top of that, your opponent really is struggling to keep up with you for the entire game. This is a card that will single-handedly win you a game if it comes down at the right time and your opponent draws dead off of it. And, let's see, I played 4 Skyla to get that as early as possible. Skyla, red card, and then try to get an Oblivion Wing off, maybe. I liked going first with my variant. I know that you can go second to try to get off the turn 1 Evil Ball or Oblivion Wing, but that's mainly because the red cards. Major disruptive card. I would recommend it over Energy Switch. I'd recommend it over Hammer. It's just such a valuable card in this list. And then, aside from, well, Hold on. There we go. Aside from the 4 Skyla, I have 4 Sycamore. I'm playing Sycamore over full Juniper because it's hilarious. In case you're wondering. Yeah, that's just Professor Juniper. That's standard. What I did was 4 Shanua. I realized that after testing out Shanua to play off the red card, that even without red card, I like Shanua more than N, just because of the late game support that it gives you. And it doesn't let your opponent shuffle in, which is really amazing, actually. I mean, N does have the late game disruption, so it really comes down to player preference. But, I don't know, I just didn't like it when you're drawing dead, and your opponent's drawing dead, and you top an N. Or you know that your opponent has a 1-card hand and your only supporter's an N. Yeah, so you're not forced to give your opponent a free hand off of it, which is really nice. And late game, when you've thinned your deck out to a certain extent with Ultra Balls and all that, it's very valuable, that 5-card draw as opposed to maybe a 1 or 2-card draw. When maybe your opponent still has 4 or 5 prizes left, it really finishes the game nicely. And then, catch my breath here. For my ace spec, I played Scramble Switch. Whoa. Elk Gang. Yeah, I liked it. I don't know, I always have liked Scramble Switch. If I were to choose another ace spec, I'd probably do Dowsing Machine, just because of the versatility, but Scramble Switch was really a strong player with Yveltal. This gets damaged by whatever, and then you put down another one, you throw down energy, and you're evil balling for a ton of damage. And your opponent rarely sees a Scramble Switch coming, even if they, know you're playing it. It's just such a out-of-nowhere card that can really swing the game in your favor. And 2 Muscle Band. I kind of wanted to go heavier, couldn't really find the room, but yeah, that should be pretty explanatory. It makes you hit a lot more numbers evenly with Yveltal. It just boosts everything. 50 damage from Oblivion Wing is amazing. Shouldn't need to go into too much detail there. And 4 Ultra Ball. I liked maxing my Ultra Ball just so that I could get energy in the discard faster to power up my 4 Dark Patch. That was actually the night that I made before States, or the change that I made the night before States, was to cut out a lot of the crap that was just sort of making my deck less consistent, and just going for Ultra Balls, more energy, more Dark Patch, and more Letter. Just because that makes your deck so much faster, it makes it work so much more often. It's a really good thing to focus on when you're playing a Darkrai list. And let's see. 2 Virbank, and only 3 Laser. Once again, this list isn't very roomy, at least my build. When you do your own build, you can cut out whatever, really, and build the cards that you liked more. So, if you are a stronger supporter of Laser Bank than Red Card, then adapt your list. Maybe add another Laser, drop the red cards, add whatever other techs you like. Obviously, with any deck analysis, you have to keep in mind that this deck is molded to the Southwest metagame, and it is molded to my playstyle specifically. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of these trainer cards is kind of the heart of the Darkrai Yveltal build. So you can even go more defensive, you can play Sableye. The options for this list are really infinite, just because the trainers are essentially what make the deck up. So consider what tech cards you like, consider what your metagame looks like, and adjust accordingly, would be my advice. If I were to suggest to keep one tech card that I played in, it would be this guy right here. 3 Pokémon Catcher. Now I know what you're thinking, coin flip, yeah. Nobody is playing around Catcher anymore, is what I noticed. They expect that just because a Pokemon with 110 damage is on the bench, they expect that it will live. And with Catcher, you catch them off guard, you draw prizes fast. And you, frankly, win games and you can outpower them and cut their setups short. The coin flip's obviously a problem, but I still think that it's personally worth the room just because it opens up a whole new door for play options. Just because something is on the bench, it means that you can still take it down in a pressing situation. And I noticed that a lot of the builds that I was struggling to beat at States were also carrying Catcher. I don't know, just coincidence, but I saw a lot of Catcher on the top tables. It's making a comeback. Watch out for it. Prepare for it at least. If you're not going to tech for it, at least expect to see it. Don't think that your Pokemon are safe on the bench just because Catchers are rotted or because they're not playing Dusknoir. That would be my advice, would be to watch out for that card at, I guess Regionals is probably over. Nationals? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't thought about how well this deck will carry through to Nationals yet. I don't think anything out of the new set poses too much of a threat for it. Maybe Pyroar. You might have to tech against that if people are playing that, but I guess Brutal Bash Zoroark sort of negates that pretty well. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this list plays out later on this season. All right, and 2 more trainers. Tool Scrapper. You never know when you're going to run into Genesect or Garbodor, so keep that handy. I would recommend to leave that in, but, you know, whatever floats your boat. And one other tech card that I had was Shadow Circle. That eliminates the weakness of any Pokemon with a Dark Energy attached to it. I found that fairly useful in the Thundurus matchup. Even if it got taken out of play by Frozen City, it still forced them to lay that down, which I could then take out with Virbank. Frozen City is a pretty big threat to this, so any stadium cards that you can add in are very helpful, especially if you can make it so that Thundurus isn't hitting your Yveltal for an insane amount of damage that you can't really counter attack for. Thundurus was very difficult to play around, especially with Lugia. My advice for the Thundurus matchup would be just attack with Darkrai, and try to hit those magic numbers, you know, and don't be afraid to throw, I guess, a big Yveltal out there. And Thundurus are almost a higher priority to hit than Lugia, I would say. If you're carrying Hammers, the matchup might be a little more in your favor just because you can get rid of those Plasma Energy. But yeah, watch out for the Thundurus. That's a tough matchup. I struggled against all the Plasmas that I played at New Mexico States. Yeah, they were difficult. And in Colorado, too, I played against some very talented players who were carrying Plasma, or even Raichu. Raichu's a huge threat, but I'd say less so than Thundurus just because you can one-shot the Raichu with Y-Cyclone. Alright, and last but not least, we have our energies. 2 DCE. I'm playing the ugliest print I could find, just so you guys know. I actually liked it. Black on black, whatever. Yeah, 3, I don't know. I liked the 2 count. DC doesn't really help you if you're looking for a dark, but it does boost your Yveltal by 40, which is a huge power swing there. So I don't know. I thought 2 was the right balance. I thought it was a good medium. And then I played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dark energy. Like I said, I like to go energy heavy. I like to get those energy in fast so that I can dark patch immediately. But I think that honestly I could have got away with less. And I think that if you are more comfortable playing more and that works towards your play style, then no one's stopping you. So yeah, I've made a mess of my list. That's pretty cool. You know, guys, we're going to try to get some more competitive content up sooner or later, considering we have been strictly uploading trash for about 4 to 6 months now. Yeah, you're welcome for that. But yeah, expect more deck analysis, expect more, maybe even recorded matches, And thanks for 1,000 subs, guys. I know that we're pretty facetious a lot of the times, but it's pretty cool. We may be doing something special for that 1,000 subscriber mark, so stay posted and don't hit the unsubscribe button just yet. Alright, catch you guys next time. Peace out, brothers.